thoughts are on the fact that the president of Ghana has made a call for people to come back to the motherland. What your thoughts are on the year of return?
I mean, I just think it's a fabulous.
And they steady sitting up there talking about Jesus. Jesus.
Hi, welcome to Vibes Upon Vibes with Chivik. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today's episode is definitely going to be a heartwarming yet emotional episode. So I need you at this point to first of all calm down, grab your handkerchief or your tea, your popcorn, whatever, because I don't know if we might get emotional, but I pray we don't. But regardless of what we end up with, it is what it is, because I want to ask a question. Have you ever wondered what it was during the slave trade era, where our forefathers, our ancestors had to go through what they went through? Yes, they went through the valley of the shadow of death. And today, we, these generations, are not privileged enough to be taught enough or tutored enough in our various schools. But for some, maybe they do, about the history of the slave trade in Africa. This has to do with all countries in Africa, exactly. But for today's episode, I want us to look at what the slave trade for the motherland Ghana is, and my fatherland Nigeria, what it is. First of all, let's take a walk to the Gold Coast in Ghana, where the slave trade began.
Welcome to the Cape Coast Castle. This is one of the slave castles in Ghana. We have numerous number of them, but this is Cape Coast Castle. It's very iconic, and in this video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the Cape Coast Castle. Let's go.
Yes, so as you can see, this is Cape Coast Castle, and this is the entrance to the castle. I'm not the one going to do the job over here because we have a tour guide who will take us through everything. But for me, in the next 2, 3, 4 minutes maximum, I'll be taking you through the entrance and everything you need to know around the place before the tour guide will take his job. So these are some freedom fighters and their coats, and they thought it's very nice to be at the entry point so that when you get here you get to read them. So if you want to read, just pause and read any of them. We are about to enter art market, where in the past it wasn't an art market, but now they are just using it for art and stuff over here. So you can get kente, basket, and all the made in Ghana stuff over here to purchase, so that when you get to your country you get to show people that you indeed came to Ghana. Coming to see my ancestors and how they struggled for us. So this is the directional map. It gets to show you all the stages wherever you'll be passing to, from the main entrance all the way to the gate of no return. Now the white man really planned everything out.
Give me the story.
They used to fire at the enemies or intruders. So there you have it. These are the bullets. There are more there. There are more there. There are more here. And outside here is like let me show you the sea proper, the view. This is nice, this is crazy, this is beautiful. And just after the sea defense is, you can see the boats over there. It's like a fish market. So you see a lot of people over there. It's a bit far from here, but you can see. Yeah, Cape Coast Castle is very beautiful. Let's go in. Yeah, so now we are entering the place. Okay, listen. Okay, boss. I don't know why this is, but he said we should enter here.
This is the model of the Cape Coast.
Okay.
We take the picture.
This is like a model of the entire castle. So yes, we are somewhere along here. I don't know, like here.
We did this building inside.
Okay, yeah.
Downstairs.
Okay, the geography student is teaching me. We did somewhere like that. So yeah, we'll be going in soon. We are waiting for the tour guide to get in.
All right, let's move straight to the building. Mind your steps.
Be careful, yeah. Mind your steps. Mind the
Okay, this is where I hand you over to the tour guide to take us through the history and everything about the Cape Coast Castle. Please click on the like button and also don't forget to leave a comment.
Cape Coast Castle. My name is Richard. I'll be with you for the next 45 minutes. You are free to ask questions and take some pictures. But before we move down, I will give a brief background history about the castles and transatlantic slave trade. The Europeans came to West Africa and did not rest at all because they built about 50 forts and castles in West Africa. Out of the 50 they built, Ghana had about 40. All because of our gold. So it was not surprising that they named our coast Gold Coast. Our neighboring coast was named Ivory Coast. A lot of ivory. The coast of Togo, Benin, Nigeria, Slave Coast. Meaning they were getting a lot of slaves from there. But out of our forts they built, we now have 19 forts, 3 castles existing. So together about 22 existing. First one built is the one in El Nina. St. George's, built by the Portuguese, 1482, 542 years old, oldest European structure in entire West Africa. Second one is Accra, Christiansborg, Denmark built Christiansborg, 1661. This is the youngest retail the last castle. Cape Coast, built by the British, this English, it's 359 years old, very old, but the structure is the strong. Surprising, the original structure, like inside here, has no cement, no iron rods. Any cement mortar you see around, it won't be used to restore the facility. They used bent bricks, they brought the oyster shells with oil and sand as binding material, stones, pitch painting with cheap African labor. If not free, they built the land. Meaning they used our people for the construction. And that should inform us that Africans contributed, built their own dungeons. And all the 3 castles I mentioned, as well as most of the forts, were slave posts. The Europeans had captives, held them in dungeons, brought ships, loaded them, sent them to the Americans to work on plantations. And some of our people, Africans, who became victims, were people the Europeans themselves raided or kidnapped. What I mean is, they could set a whole village on fire, and as the people around and helter-skelter for their lives, they waited for the young ones. You could be working on your farm with your brother, your husband, your son, or even your friend. You look back, and he's gone. Sometimes they used deceit. They deceived some of them. Let's go to our own countries. We will give you better lives. They ended up working for them. No, there were some instances where some Africans, chiefs, traditional rulers, prominent personalities, brought some people and sold. But they were not selling their brothers, their sisters, their children, as some people sometimes want us to believe. Most of the people they brought were rather some of their prisoners of war. People were captured during warfare. No, there was no Ghana, no Togo, no Nigeria, no Burkina Faso. One big continent made of states, kingdoms, ethnic groups, clans, as we still have. They all wanted to expand, fighting among themselves. Those who were defeated, instead of them to be killed by the victors, they rather imprisoned them, sold some out for gang and violence. I said they were fighting. Africans were not that united then. The Europeans took advantage of that, and sadly we are still not united, and they are also still taking advantage. That's right. That is why today in the whole world, Brazil is the second country after Nigeria with the highest number of black people. About 100 million blacks in Brazil. Wow. Ghana, you know, we're just about 32 million.
So that's racism.
Yeah, so population of Ghana, Togo, Benin go together, I think we cannot match black people in Brazil. Most of them are there because of transatlantic slave trade. So to Brazil, you know that US of A, Suriname, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Antigua, Jamaica, Haiti, St. Vincent, Dominica, Colombia, and others to work on plantations mainly. Flew to Europe to do construction works. Men were here, women were younger. And on top of this male slave dungeon was a church. So Monday through to Saturday, they bought, they had slaves, held them in dungeons. Sundays, they had church services. That is when in Ghana some people commonly say the ship that brought Bible, same ship took slaves away. First president of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta, once said when the missionaries arrived, Africans had land, they had Bible. They taught us how to pray with our eyes closed. When you open our eyes, they had the land, they had the Bible. And we are still having it.
You might actually want to think that this is just a message or something that was written down. I just really want you to understand that this was actually a reality of our ancestors, our forefathers, our freedom fighters, like you rightly heard, right? But while we are at it, let's take a look, at least briefly, to what Nigeria is up to in the city of Badagri and see what it looks like.
All true? Yes. When I was younger, I used to hear stories about how foreign ships used to come down to the coast of Nigeria and take a lot of us away as slaves, like in millions, to go and work for them overseas under very inhumane conditions. Off the coast of Lagos is a place called Badagri, and this place holds a significant history in the slave trade era. So I want you guys to come along with me and let's see what happens in Badagri. I have long legs. Badagri is a place where many slaves were kept, and it's also a place that tells the story of how the slave trade started. It was one of the major routes for the transatlantic slave trade. I don't really know a lot about the slave trade, so I decided to go down here and meet up with somebody whose grandparents were alive during the era of the slave trade to tell me the story about how slave trade started in Nigeria. How far now? How are you doing? I'm good. Yeah. Tired, right? Yeah, tired.
The compound that we are is known as Brazilian Barracoon. And Barracoon is a Portuguese word meaning slave cell or storehouse where the slave were being stored. And the compound right now we have to talk about 40 rooms in this compound.
Okay, so this is where they kept slaves?
Yes, in the olden days. And that is to say each room contains 40 slaves. This is called cowrie shell, as you can see.
Okay.
So those are the kind of currency our forefathers used then.
Now this is what they used to use as a means of exchange.
Yes, but when they came, them say they can do business with our father with this kind of money. Right on the wall, these were some of the European products that were used in exchange for the slave when they arrived. Like if the European give you one umbrella, you give them 40 human beings as a slave.
Is this one of the rooms that
this
40 people?
Yes, yeah.
40 people?
40, yeah.
Inside here?
Yeah, and we have 40 rooms in the compound.
Wow.
This one is called Convlin yoke. They use it to join two slaves together. They put this at the ankle or the
Okay, to join two slaves together by the leg.
Now, look at that small window type. Can you see that small window there? And that's what we provided the ventilation. Imagine 40 able human beings in there for 3 to 4 months.
40 human beings inside here.
Imagine the odor, the heat. Imagine how many human beings because they will have died here. That's the reason when people come there, tell them you are not here to cash for, but just to feel the pain. The people at the bazaar fed, and those are the items that I show you on the wall. Each go for 10 cents. These are 50 human beings. Look at your back there. This bottle, if you look closely at the body, you see 1873. Be customized on the body. That's 10 human beings standing. So,
guys, can you imagine the conditions that the slaves had to live in? 40 people in a room that is not even enough for one person. 40 people had to stay inside that room. I can't even begin to imagine how most of them would have felt.
So these are the canon.
Okay.
100, that's 200 slaves.
For this canon here?
If you can't give you the long one, you give them 100 human beings, another 100. That's
wow. These are the chains they use for the slaves.
You can see, that's why I say you can see how which have you want to
put it here? Let me try it.
Okay, so just tell the people how you feel.
Wow, this is heavy, man. Fuck, this is heavy. Ouch. It's even drawing.
Should I help you?
Guys, this is heavy, man. And this is what they wear on their neck. All true?
Yes, it should be in a single file. No, in a straight row. This another neck. It could have been like 100 of them.
Wow, man, guys, this is very heavy. And they wear this all day, every time.
Yeah, while they're taking it away.
And it's even, this thing at the back is so not comfortable.
Yeah. And that's their drinking pot here.
Oh, this is where they drink from.
They don't allow them to use cup, but it's almost they tie the hand at the back. They drink water this way.
Wow. So everybody goes in.
Imagine why the water get below. While struggling, the earth can see injure the slave.
Wow. Just putting the chain on my neck, those chains were so heavy and it was hurting my neck, as you can see in the video. And these people had to go through all of this and they had no choice. Separated from their families, separated from everybody that they knew, and sold. As you can imagine how these people were treated. So now we're going to the point of no return. And for us to do that, we have to cross over this lagoon here and get to the other side. That's where we see the point of no return. Point of no return is a point where once slaves get to, they can't come back anymore.
You know, Badagri was founded around 1425
Okay.
by a man called Agbede.
Agbede. Okay.
Yeah. And Agbede means blacks meat in Yorubas. The slave ship, which is called cargo ship,
Okay.
will be awaiting the slave
On the other side.
at the other side of the
That's
beach.
at the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. They will come in, get to the town, get the number of slaves that they want.
Okay.
After getting the slaves, they will now walk them in a single file.
Down to the beach.
They'll be in a straight roll.
Wow.
And that heavy chain will be on their necks.
You know, most times when they talk about the slave trade,
Okay.
it's always looking like, okay, it's just only the Europeans that were selling slaves. But it kind of seems like we Nigerians were also selling ourselves as slaves.
Very, very correct. Like me that I'm standing with you.
Yeah.
My forefathers were not slave traders, but we own slaves.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
You understand? How do we own our slave? If you have the money then,
Yeah.
you can move down to the market
Yeah.
and buy your slaves.
Okay.
In the market, you buy slaves. from the
Wow.
market.
So they used to sell slaves like food.
Something
like
like
going
that.
to Mr.
You
Biggs.
see, this is what really happened. It's of two sides of it.
Okay.
In some part of Congo, even part of Nigeria,
Yeah.
there's some places that they invaded
Okay.
and they took the people away forcefully as a slave.
Okay.
But in some part of it, there's some part where by the Africans, locals or the chiefs, the warrior, they are also their facilitators. They sell their own people. Because when they came, okay, they, we fought war then.
Okay.
You know, man you want to dominate your domain, your kingdom.
Okay.
You understand? That ego is within us. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So, like now, if your village and my village had a fight,
Yeah.
eventually, if you won the fight, you take the people away as a slave to your own town.
To your own town,
And
just
they'll
like
be working here, you understand?
Just like they do in war and
War,
yeah.
the victim of war, you understand?
Yeah.
So they'll be working for you.
Yeah.
Piano came. They made the trade on ground.
Oh, they made the slave trade. So the slave trade was already happening when they
before
came.
they arrived here.
Wow.
So they met the trade on ground.
Okay.
We've been enslaving ourselves before they arrived Africa. We betrayed ourselves, which is still happening up to date.
Up to today, yeah. That's where I'm going to with this. Yeah.
So if you check record, go and check record, or quote me.
Yeah.
Most of the slave facilitators, their children were the ones still ruling in Africa up to date. Yeah. So you see the same system going on up till date. The blames are on both sides. The European and the African. Facilitators. You understand?
Yeah.
As a child, when I was growing up, the story my own forefather, my grandfather, my father used to tell me then about who we are on the surface of earth. I realized that we are very, very powerful. We can disappear. You can tell the ground to open, it will open.
That's Africans, right?
Africa, yes.
Yeah.
How comes the European comes around and force
us to do what we didn't want to do, yeah?
Later, as I now realize that we sold
ourselves
into slavery. They know that we are very, very powerful. They know who we are. You understand?
But it seems we don't know who we are. We don't know the power that we have.
We know.
And why they went through what they did, guys, I can't stop imagining how these people felt. I can't stop thinking what was going through their mind. Their feelings, their emotions, their cries, their tears in the hands of not just their colonial masters, but also their own fellow citizens, like you rightly heard from here and there, that they actually were betraying themselves. They were selling themselves out. But at the end of the day, is it still over in Ghana? Let's take more in-depth look at that.
That is typical underground dungeon, purposely built for our ancestors. So it slopes and it slips, so watch your steps.
These people.
These are the only lights you see. Like, they just imagine the two lights.
Wow. Ventilation for them. You see how it is. Imagine how dark it will be at night. As a result of that, some of them lost their sight.
They will.
It has been dark for a month. Later went out, the sun rays affected the eyes of some of the captives. Check the snare 5. This is the first chamber, and this one measures 16 32 feet square. and it was occupied by 200 packed this place, 200 yes. The 5 are 1,000. This very one was called strong timber for those who were physically, mentally very strong. Because they were strong, they were chained, normally by the ankles against this wall, blocking out the chest in this holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So long chain, my ankles were covered 23, long chain will block out heavy metal. There were many, 200, sometimes, if not always, the tension became very hot. When it became unbearable for them, and started shouting, they poured water on them. There is to go down there. This is estimated that 80% died here because communicable infectious diseases spread very fast. When some of them died in their own land, they were not given the faith in barrels. Rather, they threw their disease in barrels, added stones, and they turned them into the sea. So feces, urine, vomit, blood, sweat, tears, saliva, and my flesh cover the floor like this. So what is this like? It's petrified feces, urine, vomit, blood. And in fact, the whole floor was covered like this. Just that archaeologists came from the University of Ghana, Legon, excavated district. They left what is here for us to talk about. So simply, what is inside here is DNA of our ancestors. They give them food. They were fed normally twice a day, but little food just to keep them alive. Most of the time, domestic captives were very food for the commercial ones. When sometimes I'm going to see where and the people they became very aggressive. The point of that, they didn't very aggressive and emotional. They separate them because they encountered such experiences. Oh, welcome. You have to join us, right? In your thumbs up. In your thumbs up. On my right. So this is very long. This is the third chamber. So we just see from the first and the second, this is the third and fourth. Each chamber was about 200 meters. And what we are starting on is build up of pieces. Standing now, it's a little bit higher than we want. It's thicker here, and it's thicker here because of this. As I just indicated, sometimes they pass the food. Yes.
Unbelievable. Let's take a minute of silence for heroes, our ancestors, our great freedom fighters who actually did fight and brought us to where we are at today. May their soul and the soul of all the faithful departed rest in peace. This is really getting me so emotional to the point that I am trying to fight back my tears because I keep wondering what these people would have gone through. I keep wondering how they went through what they went through. I keep wondering the oppression. I keep wondering the torture. I keep wondering their death and everything that transpired during their time. And it's so unfortunate that today we are still experiencing the same hate, sellout. We are still experiencing the same oppression, discrimination, segregation, racism amongst us as Africa. But how did it end in Nigeria?
Out of 12 disciples, there will always be a Judas. You understand? Somebody must betray one person, you understand? Slave spirit add to a nation well. Let's say the water. To buttress. Now, who dug this well? That's the question. This well was dug by the African chiefs. Why do they have to dug the well? Good. Now, the movement of Africans to America through that is known as Middle Passage. They call it Middle Passage. And the name of the slave ship is called cargo ship, which could take like 600, 700. You know, it was the Portuguese that started the trade. Yeah. Most of the slave moved from Africa then, they student to Lisbon. Okay. Lisbon is a very big slave market in Portugal then. Yeah. Where everybody get their slave. Then later, along the English joined And the name of the first slave ship is being Jesus of Lubeck, or Good Ship Jesus, owned by King Henry VIII of England then. But later Queen Elizabeth rented it out to one of the slave party called John Hawkins. And they started taking Africans away as a slave to work for them. And most of the town in America, even though the White House was built by black people. Now, on the slave ship, we could have like 600, 700, 200. It depends the size of the slave ship. And the crew, they were taking the slave away. They are no more than probably 25 to 30 people. They were taking like 600 or 300 slaves away. So most often, while taking it away, if the slaves spotted the land and it aggravated them, you understand, or they have any opportunity, they kill all the crew on board. They will not add the sailor to sail down to any available land. They will not occupy. The only person they will not kill them is the sailor. They will ask the sailor to sail back to any available. I think that's what happened in Guadeloupe and some part, most of the Caribbeans. Those
Haiti, all those places, yeah.
So now the African chiefs came up with the idea. What can they do so that the slave will be less aggressive? That's where they have to drop the word. And once the slave walk in a single file without heavy chain, the stopover will be here. They will give them the water to drink. And when they consume the water, we are told that they will lose their memory.
Wow, it will wipe their memory?
But it's not for life, for 3 to 4 months. It will weaken them, not really that you wipe, maybe wipe their memory. Yeah. Why they taking them as they they can't.
Sure, they can't do anything. Wow.
So it will weaken them for 3 to 4 months. By then they will have sailed down to Europe or America. They will not regain their strength.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's unfortunate that this was actually what our leaders, our ancestors, our freedom fighters went through. May God in heaven bless them even in their demise. Wherever their soul is, may they continue to find peace. May they continue to find rest. May they continue to find happiness, because I doubt if at this point they will still have reasons, looking at what is happening in the world today, in the continent of Africa, in Nigeria and in Ghana and in so many other countries. We still have this whole thing happening in a different angle, in a different pattern, and from a different direction within and amongst ourselves. Why? If not for these Sahel countries that have taken it upon themselves at the end of the day to see how they can free and liberate themselves from the hands of these people. And today, so many countries are yet to wake up to this call, to wake up from their realities. Is it because they did not experience this, or haven't heard this story as it was being told? I can say this was the reason why the president and the leaders in Ghana made this call for the African Americans to return back to their roots. In fact, Africans cut across the world, the globe, returning back to their roots. But the very biggest on it is the motherland Ghana, which brought these people back to their roots.
Thoughts are on the fact that the president of Ghana has made a call for people to come back to the motherland. What your thoughts are on the year of return?
I mean, I just think it's a fabulous idea, It was something I had planned on doing years ago. It's been on my vision board for years, and this was the time I was coming for some other business and things to make a deeper footprint over here than just to come over here, perform and go back. This is different for me, so we're going to stay for a while. We got some things set up on the continent, so I just think it's a great call, though. I don't think people understand how it feels for a lot of African Americans to come home to a place you've never been. I mean, how you never been home before? I think it's emotional for everybody. Every African American should experience it for their own soul. It's for your soul. Your soul is here, and so it's nothing but greatness being here. I mean, this is home. It's when we get here. The first time I came here, I couldn't stop crying because I had come to a place called home, which I had never been, and I felt robbed. And so I'm good now. Now, we're doing some business over here. We're going to create some opportunity over here. We're going to change the thought process, and this is going to help shape, especially bridge the gap between African Americans and Africans, because that's what you have to do. We all know what America is. Wonderful things, they accomplish a great deal, but you don't know what it is. You gotta go home, though. Eventually, you gotta go home. Yeah, it pulls at you, you know. So once you come here, you'll get it. The more of us that come here, the more you'll get it. Because when you drive down the street, it's like driving down the street in Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, Washington. You just keep seeing yourself. I thought 5 people was my aunt today. I thought I saw my aunts 5 times today. I know I saw some cousins. Go through the door of no return. And they steady sitting up there talking about Jesus. Jesus.
And that was an emotional moment where Steve Harvey had to tear up because it was deep and it was in-depth to understand and think of what his ancestors actually went through, just like you and I are thinking at this moment. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you are really sincere and truthful, you can attest to the fact that that was never a sweet experience and can never be. But the only time, privilege, opportunity you and I have today, is what? Always identifying with our roots, always remembering the fact that there is no place like home, always trying our best not to repeat history in the wrong narratives, always trying our best to always live up to our expectations, always trying our best to live as good examples, because at the end of the day, it's up to us to live it and live it to the full, in changing the narrative of what our forefathers, our freedom fighters went through. We have them so much in all parts of the country. And if you're a citizen of any country today, like we have shared for Ghana and Nigeria, what was it? How do you feel about this whole experience? Have you ever been told the story of how your ancestors, your forefathers, your freedom fighters did fight to survive and get the country to where it is today and get the continent of Africa to where it is today? And that's why I am a huge and a big fan of Pan-Africanism, African unity, African peace, African growth and success. And that's why when I see countries in Africa, whether from north, east, west and south, that are definitely trying to represent themselves in the best shape and form, based off what our African leaders, our forefathers would actually love, I try to take out my time to expose it so that we can see, we can learn, we can grow, we can understand, change and do better as nothing but the very best versions of ourselves. Now is the time for you to retrospect, to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, what impact, what role are you playing as a citizen of your country? Are you still in the era or limelight of breeding more hate than love? Are you still in the era of destroying the peace of your country and other countries? Are you in other people's country for peace, love and unity, or you are for destruction? Are you representing yourself, your family, your country in the best shape and form? These are food for thought. Leave your answers in the comment sections, as well as your contributions, your ideas, right there in the comment section. And what part of this story touched you the most? Leave it in the comment section, because I guess most of you did not know that this was part of our history and was what our leaders, our forefathers had to go through. This is not all. You can do well to check up on the channels, because the channels will be in the description, and follow for more stories like this that will really enlighten, educate you about your roots, right? Until then, keeping it happy, real and safe. If you're yet to like this video, like, share and subscribe and all those good stuff, and I will see you in my next one. Ciao ciao.